this is another episode of SMS News Channel in my PJs. uh, I don't know. It's just today is a good day for the most part, but for me, I don't know. I don't really know what else to talk about other than I'm just feeling like I don't know. There's been some things where I've kind of lost motivation in a lot of things, and I wanted to talk about families, but I didn't know how to say it without kind of getting angry towards mine. So I'll just say it like this. I feel like in some cases, I noticed that there's always been a gender preference within family because they always prefer the boys. And I get it. I guess if you just wanted boys, then that's fine. But why do we hate having a daughter? I just want to understand that narrative because it's like to the point in the magnitude where you'll let the nephews get away with anything. They could do whatever, but when you do something, and I used to say this all the time, I said, Mom, it doesn't make any sense. My cousins get away with murder. And I used to say that all the time. And she would always tell me, oh, they're just boys. And I'm just like, so when is it okay for me to be okay? So when I would do something, anytime I would say something, it was, well, she's doing this, she's acting a fool. And I'm like, how come everybody else gets a chance to have a phase in their life and I have to be so this and that and the third? I don't really care if I grew up in the family house. That was not my mother. My mother is my mother. And it's just like the thing that kills me is you want us to be so freaking perfect. It's annoying. I'm so tired of church. And I'm going to be honest because you guys always want to make it seem like, especially in the apostolic church, always want to make it seem like it's always a woman's fault. And anytime something goes wrong, it's her fault, it's her fault. I mean, it's to the point where all the way back to Eve. It's her fault, it's her fault. But nobody questions the men for nothing. I'm not going to sit here and hold myself to the cross and be like, oh, I have this A on my shoulder and stuff. Which to me, the Scarlet's letter, that kind of sounds like a lot of privilege, to be honest with you. You know, I don't know. Whatever. But I just felt like, are you serious? Is it because you don't like you that you only prefer guys in the family? Because I'm so tired of every time. Like, I even talked to an ex-friend of mine. Like, we used to talk and she would just say, because my grandmother my auntie who raised me basically just prefers the boys. She sees nothing wrong with the boys. She sees no wrong. They could do whatever they want to do and they see no wrong. But when my sister had a child, everything was, you're not nothing, you're a prostitute and stuff like that. And I say, this women, and mostly I have to say, I don't know about all the other races, but I can say it for even my race. But well, I can't say that because I've even noticed it in even the Indian race. But it's just like, if there's such a hatred towards women, like I just don't understand, what did we do? Because we weren't the reason why man fell. That was Eve and Adam. That was Adam and Eve's fault. That was them. I'm not saying, and then there was a person that was on the Truth Show that was in the Truth Show comments or something like that when she was talking about melanin. They were basically saying, oh, well, women are, that story isn't true. Women aren't a curse. And I was just saying that I didn't say women are a curse. I was saying that specific story made it seem like women were just leh. And I don't know, it's like, if it's not, it's like Jesus. We go from having We go through moments where where first we're property, now we have rights, now people call us feminists, and it's just like, do you understand where the hate came from? All geared towards our parents, basically. All these years of always saying, oh, I want a boy, I want a boy, I want a boy, I want a boy. And that's great if you want something to pass your legacy, and that's awesome. But my thing about it is, so what if God decides to give you a girl? Is it the end of the world because you have a girl? And it's like, it's almost like men, some men, and I don't know about all men, but the majority of them, it's just like they get so infuriated when they don't have a son. And it's like, you don't realize that sometimes, maybe, that's just the way it's supposed to be. Maybe. It doesn't mean you're not a cool person. I mean, I don't. What is with this gender bias foolishness? Like, who cares what gender the kid is? That's the reason why these people are so freaking gone when they get older. We got all this situation with gender. I wanted to be this, I wanted to be that. You got so many kids that have physically, because their parents wanted one particular gender, literally have tried to morph themselves into that. And that's the reason why I think, and this is not to slam the gays, so don't take it this way. This is just an example. This is not me slamming on the community. I love you guys. That's the truth. I'm just making a point. Before everybody gets stupid in the comments, I am just making a point. That's the reason why there's so much confusion, because of our parents. Not everybody's parents, but because of the stupid narrative that they do. Because they wanted a boy so bad, you gonna sit there and bash the fact that this girl is trying her best. I don't care if this girl doesn't sleep with anybody. She holds herself before marriage. She ends up having a wonderful life. She ends up getting a couple of degrees. Ends up marrying somebody that actually treats her good. You're still bent on the fact that you didn't have a son. Why do we have so much preferences on men, and then, and I'm not saying men are trash, because that's not the case of this video. I'm just trying to figure out why everybody is so bent on the men, 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 when you got men, some men, not all, that are making laws for female problems that they have never had. They have never had. You guys are so focused on the men, the men, the men, the men, the men, that when it comes down to stuff that's related to women's health, it's almost like y'all think y'all know everything. You don't have our body. This is the main reason why I never understand male gynecologists. Why the hell are you even in that field in the first place? You've never had a vagina. This is not to be real. This is not to be biased. This is not to be mean. But I'm just saying, that's like me being a doctor over somebody's prostate. I've never had balls. I'm trying to get an understanding of it. I'm not saying that it's wrong to have certain types of doctors, but because of the fact that in this culture, in this society, people have done just unspeakable, disgusting things to people. And we think it's normal to pass this on to another generation of kids to grow up into adults, and you're okay with them passing this on as this is nasty, or this gender is ridiculous. So if I ended up saying that men are trash, does that make me a part of that thing too? Because I'm so tired of people just making a preference over which gender. What difference does it make? Now we got all genders. We got people that call themselves he, him, or she, her, or they, them, and all these other groups of people. But like, is that where it came from? is the reason why people make those decisions is because of the fact that somebody along the line was so bent on having a son they confused somebody. I'm not saying that everybody being homosexual that's a choice. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, is that the reason why there is confusion? That is my question. Now, when I was talking about, doctors and stuff like that, that was just me just being just openly honest about something. Because I just wanted to understand another thing to break off the thing. I'm not for abortion, never have been. But in this sense, because people like to make jokes about violation, why would you make a law that says that she doesn't have a right to her body? It's bad enough you have a generation of people who prefer one gender because they want that lineage to pass on, but then you want somebody to give you the ultimate respect and you're trying to tell a woman what to do with her body. Now I get the Bible talking about, I mean, a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to be funny. I understand what the Bible says about a woman being, I get it, submissive to her husband. I understand all of that jazz. If she never gets married, that's not his. That's what I'm saying. I can understand certain laws and bylaws when it comes down to marriage because that's for marriage. But when it comes down to a woman being single, why should a regular, random, no life tell you what to do with your body? You've been with that body for only a certain amount of years. Why does it matter? Why are you passing laws? Why are you doing all this stuff to stipulate or prove a point? If you hate women, just say you hate women. Because my thing about it is the fact that you can let people get away with rape is one thing. The fact that you can let people get away with sodomizing children is another thing. The fact that you can get away with so much stuff. So much stuff. The fact that you can get away with men doing stuff to men, and you wonder why half of them or don't even want to be bothered with women because of the stupid stuff that y'all thought was appropriate. Why is it okay to prefer one gender over the other is my question. Why do we think it's okay to pass laws and you've never been a freaking woman? You don't know what that feels like. Having a baby pass through your body, you don't know what that feels like. That's like me sitting there saying, well, you guys don't have prostate cancer. You know what? You should just keep it in your balls. I've never had balls before. Who am I to tell a man what to do with his health? Is the same reason why you shouldn't tell a woman what to do with her health. Period. We give birth. Some people can't handle it. Can we not also talk about the fact that you can literally die from stuff like that? And for somebody to sit there and say that we don't have a right to our bodies and somebody has to bring forth a baby because of something else. Now, if you're in a relationship, yes. But if somebody gets violated, this is the only exception where I said if that's what you decide to do, that's on you. I'm not for it, but I'm just saying people are nuts. And I don't understand why you're trying to make a law that prevents a woman to relieve herself. Because I really want to know the conversation you have with a kid that, hey, when he asks, well, hi, mommy, how did I come into this world? What's the conversation? What's the conversation? I want to understand. What is the conversation? What is the conversation that you tell your son or your daughter the reason why they got into this world is because some random person wanted to be selfish and basically violated me? I got pregnant and there you are. What's the conversation? How do you doll it up is my question. I'm not saying it's right to take somebody's life. It's not the baby's fault. I get that. But at the same time, how do you mentally handle it? How do you mentally understand it? How is that okay? How do you mentally prepare yourself to talk to a kid about this stuff? When they get of age and they want to understand who they are. Because everybody does. It's just like when you have a foster kid who's never met their mom. They always have that notion of wanting to know why was I separated from my mother. It's an emptiness. Like, people don't understand. When you're away from your parents, it's an emptiness if you don't know who they are. It's an emptiness if you don't know who yourself. You don't know yourself. So when I see people making laws about this and that and the third, that it shouldn't be a woman's right to it, but it's her body. It's her body. It's hers. She has to be responsible for it. She has to make sure her pH is in balance. She has to make sure that she doesn't eat the wrong foods. She has to make sure her skin is a certain way. She has to take care of all of that and pay for, you know, the time of the month toiletries to take care of herself. And you want to tell her what to do with her body, only to marry somebody who just wants a son. I mean, I get it. Maybe. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having sons. Sons are awesome. But I'm just saying, why do we hate having daughters? That's what I don't understand. Because if it was me and God blessed me with a baby, I would be happy regardless what gender it is. I don't care because it's a baby. But I hear so many parents say stupid stuff like that, and they wonder why their kids are like, you wanted a son, but you didn't want me? That's the thing. Nobody wants to talk about that. That psychologically breaks somebody when you physically hear your parents say, well, they really wanted this, but not that. Kids are not vending machine options. You don't sit there and just put whatever chromosome in something and you just say, well, this is what I want. That's not how it works. Some kids are born with genetic problems. Some kids are born with Down syndrome. Some kids are born and they have different skin issues. Some kids are born and they might have their twin inside of them. Some kids are born with stuff. Some kids aren't born with stuff. Some kids are born with different eye colors. Some kids are born with learning disabilities. Where is it okay to sit here and tell somebody what you prefer, and they gotta go in this world where the world hates them too? That's all I wanted to understand. Why are we in this world and we don't talk about these hard topics? That's why I say I talk about this stuff all the time, because it's necessary. Somebody has to talk about it, because somebody has to talk about it. Somebody has to talk about it. Somebody has to talk about it. We can sit there and put it off that, oh, I probably need psychological help because I'm asking all these questions. Somebody has to talk about something, because there's too many lies. Nobody, you teach your children to tell the truth, and then they grow up and see how the world really is, and they still have questions. Let them ask questions. They want to know. There's a reason why they need to know. They don't want to be dumb. You know how embarrassing that is? Going to class and you don't have school supplies? I'm making this example because that's how it feels like in the world. When you don't have the proper tools to help you in this world and nobody explains stuff like that because they're being so freaking gender biased. It's beyond me. On another episode of SMS News Channel, and I'll be back with more.